Welcome, everyone. My name is Randy Anderson, and I'm excited today because we are going to bring to you a great message about a great new product, Probio Balance, only by Modexus. And this is actually part three of the discovery and training series. And we're going to talk today about lowers dietary cholesterol absorption. So we have Probio Balance. It's the gold standard and clinically proven probiotic metabolic support. That's a mouthful, but it's an important mouthful. But part three lowers dietary cholesterol absorption. Now, before we jumped on here, I just couldn't help myself. I wanted to Google a couple of quick points here. So on May 15th of 2023, so just almost 2 months ago, the CDC determined, I don't know how they did this, but they're saying that there's 86 million people in the US alone with high cholesterol. So, in other words, 2 in 5 adults. So, 2 in 5 adults over the age of 20 with high cholesterol. And then also, they're saying that 78 million in the US alone are eligible or already using statin drugs for cholesterol control. So, I mean, we're talking about tens of millions of people are affected by what we are about to discuss. And there is a better way. It's only found at Modexus. So with that, I'm going to switch over to a member of our Product Research Council, Alan Ogden. Alan, greetings, Vancouver, Canada. How are you today, sir?
Very well, thank you.
Fantastic.
Uh,
Well, the floor is yours. I know that you are just so, again, so many people have told me we've never seen Alan so excited. So, anyway, I'll let you carry on.
I am. I honestly, I've never been this excited about a product either, Randy. So I just want to give people a little history lesson. I'm old enough to do that now. When I went to university, so that's back in the 70s, mid 70s to late 70s is when I took my main training, and then furthered it in the late 80s and 2000. But the talk at that time was that all fat was bad and we needed to get fat out of our food. It was killing us. It was causing these obstructive levels of cholesterol in our blood. And so the challenge that the food industry, how the food industry met that challenge was they took fat out of food and replaced it with sugar. And so all the low fat foods that people started to eat, thinking and absolutely reinforced by their medical team, was high in sugar, low in fat. Now, what that bypassed was a very important part of our body's metabolism, and the fact that we need cholesterol. So if we were to look at a chart on where our testosterone comes from, where our estrogen comes from, where our progesterone comes from, where all the hormones in our body have a root in the dietary cholesterol or dietary fats in our body. And so by taking this philosophy and just putting it out there that all fat was bad, it didn't matter that there wasn't any such thing as good fat, it was just bad and it had to be removed. We're now seeing the consequences of that decision, as you have just pointed out in the statistics, Randy. I was just going to say that 66% of the population in America, and when I say America, I mean America and Canada, because we consume virtually the same types of foods that the people in the United States consume. And so over the years, fat has come back into food, but it's not the type of fat that our body's used to. So we've been introduced to a lot of fats, salt and sugar combinations that taste really good, and people love them, but our body doesn't know what to do with them. So I like to give people sort of an analogy. And my analogy is, if you're familiar with fossil fuels at all, and I think most people know what fossil fuels are, we take crude oil, we take this very thick oil out of the ground, and we put it through a process whereby we take off certain things out of that very crude, smelly stuff, and we can make it into very useful things. We can make it into jet fuel. We can make it into gasoline. We can make it into diesel fuel. We can actually refine it down where it can be used into plastics. It's also used in drugs. There's a lot of uses for fossil fuels. And I think that's something that's being overlooked by people even now as they take this war against fossil fuels. There's just so many useful things. And it reminds me of the war against fat in our food from years ago. And just like we discovered with fat in our food, I think we're going to discover that there's many things that we need from fossil fuels that are very important to our living on this planet. But what we discovered is we can't just take fat out of our food. It leads to very serious consequences. Diabetes just took off. That's one of the things we saw as a result of that. Within a decade or a decade and a half, we saw diabetes diabetes was maybe, I'm just going to use these numbers for comparison purposes. They're not real numbers, but let's say diabetes was 1 out of 100. And then a couple of decades later, it was like 25 out of 100. So just a dramatic increase in the number of diabetics that were showing up in medical practice, and lots of other complications. And so we had this false narrative that fat was bad. And so science went back and looked at that, and they said, okay, we understand now. There is some good fats. There is some fats that are actually cardioprotective. It's called HDL, or heart healthy fat. It's cardioprotective. We need to figure out how to get that into the body. Oh, we need to replace some fat in our body. We do need cholesterol to make our hormones. So and so they came up with this idea that there was a range of fats that we could have in our body. And as long as we stayed within that range, then everything was, to use Dr. Rouse's word, copacetic. And so the challenge has been the way medicine treats things. So just remember this: if we give you a medicine, it's to stop something. So we interrupt a process in the body without thinking about the downstream consequences of that. So the drugs they picked, the statin drugs, as you mentioned, they stop the ability of the liver to put low density lipoprotein out into our bloodstream. They stopped that, and we thought for years that was a good thing. But now we've discovered that actually the body was pretty well set up for using fat. And if we look at how our fat is actually processed in the body, and we work with the body to metabolize fat in the way the body wants to, we're not in any trouble. We can use fat. We can eat fat. Just a weekend or so ago, I was listening into a presentation on body fat, and this research was saying that when you eat butter, and they would take your blood rate away, we could see that little level of fat that comes from butter. We could see it in your blood, and within an hour or two disappears when our body is normally doing what it should do. And basically, I think what we're seeing is a lot of confusion. So we want to take, with Probio Balance, what we're doing is we're taking the confusion out of what should I do about fat metabolism in our body, and we're replacing the very essential ingredients in our body that enable our liver and our other organs, our intestinal tract, etc., to handle dietary fat in the proper way, get us back on track. And so, we'll live within this balance that we do need of fats in our body to make sure we have enough for our hormones, to make sure we have enough for cardioprotective mechanisms, to make sure we have enough for energy production. You might know that the neurons in our brain are significantly more efficient at burning certain fats as compared to sugar, actually 38% more efficient at burning some fats for energy than they are using sugar. So that's an energy source for us. So that's what the intention behind Probio Balance is, exactly that. It's to get our body back into balance. And so we can be in control of what the fat that we need in our body is there to do, and we can be assured that it's there and it's doing what it needs to do. So that's the uniqueness of this product. It's not interrupting our liver and other organs from accessing the fat that they need. We're actually enabling the body to use the fat that we're consuming in the proper way, just like the body wants to use it and keep it in the right levels so that we're in balance and we're not in any, we're taking ourselves out of the danger zone of not having fat in our diet at all, or having fat that's actually too much for our body, our liver, pancreas, etc., to handle, and then it flows out into our blood and causes inflammation and causes a problem. So this is such a unique product. It's such a dynamic product. Like you, I can't wait until it is on the market. There's so many people. Well, one of the statistics you haven't mentioned there, Randy, is we got some information from Tufts University, very credible university in the UK, Tufts University, which indicated that there's a number of people in the marketplace who know they should be controlling their fat, and they're not wanting to take a statin drug because of the side effects. They're wanting to do it naturally, and there isn't a product on the market currently that can be recommended to do that. And now we have that product. So what an exciting time for us. What an exciting time for people that are struggling with this whole confusing array of options and misinformation and about fat. So wonderful, wonderful. I'm just so excited. I can hardly contain myself. So anyway, Dr. Rouse, I'm going to toss it over to you. And I know you've got some really good things to say.
Hey, Alan. Hey, Randy. It's always a pleasure to chit-chat with you guys. You know, I'm excited too. And when you think about it, where did all these people come with so much difficulty, with so many degenerative diseases related to cholesterol? Standard American Diet. And you can abbreviate that SAD, Standard American Diet. It's a sad situation. But then you got these other people over here on the other side of the fence that say, whoa, wait a minute, Dr. Charlie. I eat well. I eat healthy. But I still have a problem with cholesterol. What's up? I try my best. I eat the best that I can, and I still have trouble. All right. You got a great propensity for standard American diet, creating a catastrophe. But then you got these people over here that are genetically predisposed. They inherited the genes that they have, and their liver with their genetic structure is what it is. And sometimes their body can just keep on producing when it doesn't need to be producing, and something needs to be done. Modexus was well prepared when they got the clinical research, and man, oh man, did they name the product right. Probio Balance. Probio means probiotic, but it's better than good. I'm talking about a fermented probiotic, 3 specific strains that are cardiovascular specific. And those probiotics were definitely what we needed in our product, because they are able to excrete anything that gets wild and loose. So whether you ate it or whether mama gave it to you, it'll take care of both aspects of the degenerative disease where cholesterol is running out of hand. But when you talk about fats, there's the bad boys out there. And not only is LDL lousy, triglycerides, they can become a menace. And bilirubin, that yellow stuff that'll itch you to death and cause your liver to go haywire, those things need to be controlled as well. And guess what? Probiotic, fermented, probio, it nips it in the bud. But that's not all in the product. Balance is also part of the formula. And Alan was able to secure the world's best phytosterol. Phyto means plant. Sterol means fat. It's a fat, a good fat, a plant fat. And isn't it amazing how even plants have to have the right sterol in order to produce the chemistry. And yes, we were able to get the best of the sterols, the best of the phytos, bring it into the product to work with the probiotics, the fermented probiotics. And when sterols come in, they are exceedingly beneficial. So let's say you got a bad cholesterol over here that your liver produced. It can excrete it. It can bring it down. But at the same time, phytosterols let the good cholesterol, the healthy cholesterol, the HDL, remain. It's like they got a magnetic power. They just pull in and excrete that which is bilirubin bad, that which is triglyceride wrong, that which is HDL, leave it alone, and LDL and VLDL, very lousy, bring it down. But you know what? It was done. It has been done. And it is in that capsule, Probio Balance, the #1 nutrition on the world market for cardiovascular health. Back to you, Alan.
Well, absolutely, Dr. Charlie, and I love how you mentioned the plant fats. I think there's a lot of people that don't realize that plants have fat, but like you said, they need fat as well. You know, if we're going to metabolize and produce something that's going to enable us to continue as a species, even a plant has to produce a seed, has to produce fruit. We need fat. They also use it to protect themselves from frost and all sorts of things. So, and the thing about those fats, when they get into the human body, they displace, as you say, they displace these bad fats. They occupy the receptor sites where the bad fats would sit and cause challenges, but the plant fats have a greater propensity to actually fill those receptor sites. So there's really no place for the bad fats to sit. And our body then has to metabolize them. And the probiotics are the thing that help with the bile salts, et cetera, to metabolize those fats and get them out of the way forever. They're gone. They're gone forever. So what a fabulous combination of products. And we also threw some ashwagandha in the product. And ashwagandha is a tremendous, so you mentioned triglycerides and how damaging they can be to our body through inflammation in our cardiovascular system. And it's the inflammation, it's the oxidation of those bad fats that is the real challenge. That's the killer part of that. And by having the ashwagandha in there, we reduce the ability of those triglycerides to become threatening to oxidizing the fats and causing the plaques, all the cardiovascular challenges that we're having. So it's just such a dynamic combination. It's wow. It's just, like I say, Randy, I'm going to throw it back to you because I could get so excited. You asked me before if I could do a little dance. I could do a little dance right now. Absolutely.
Thank you. What a fascinating, intriguing conversation from Dr. Charlie and Dr. Allen. I appreciate both of you, and I learned quite a few things there, and I think everyone listening will agree that we are blessed to have you both. So, taking confusion out or away in this whole process, and that's really what Modexus is all about in all of our products: taking the guesswork out, knowing how to create synergism with natural ingredients, and also the synergism that can be created with using Probio Balance and longevity and our entire product lineup for that matter. So I have a couple of questions for you guys before I let you go, if I may, though. So I think we all would agree that cholesterol, and then when you start getting into the pharmaceutical industry's attempts over the years to corral this and challenge it or frame it, however you want to put it. But there's all these cholesterol drugs out here, mainly statins. So what can our advocates say? What are they? I mean, it's one thing for you guys to tell the story. We want them to use the tools, but what can they say to their prospect for someone that is not on a pharmaceutical for cholesterol control, or B, someone that is on a pharmaceutical for cholesterol control? Should they all be using Probio Balance? So I'll let each one of you address that, because I think people will want to hear what both of you have to say about this.
Well, if I can go first here. So Health Canada, when in Canada, you have to apply for this license that you don't have to do in the United States, called a natural product registration number, or an NPN number. And you have to supply information to Health Canada that gives the reasoning behind why you're putting this product into the marketplace. So you have to justify the creation, manufacture of this product to Health Canada. And if you can justify that, then they give you an NPN number. So when we submitted the research to them, we requested some claims. And one of the claims that we wanted to make was that it had this potential to actually replace statin drugs, or be the first choice in somebody whose cholesterol was just a little bit out of range, and bring it back into balance. Luckily for us, Health Canada agreed with those claims, and they actually came back and said that it can be used. So somebody who's on a statin drugs, we have an actual claim that says Probio Balance can be used in conjunction with a statin drug. In other words, they did not see a challenge where Probio Balance would cause any further difficulties, and may help the statin drug do its job better. So that's something that you can absolutely take to your doctor. That is a claim that you could probably reduce the need for statin drugs somewhat, and maybe reduce the side effects that people struggle with by using Probio Balance. And then if you're someone who has just found out that your cholesterol is, and let's understand that as women get older, just with after post-menopause, their cholesterol tends to drift up. That's just a process. We don't understand why, but it tends to drift up. And this is a first-line product that people can use because it works in conjunction with the body, what the body would like to do, but it just doesn't have the ingredients to do it. Generally speaking, our gut is out of balance. Our gut flora is out of balance, and we don't have the necessary bacteria there to stimulate the production of the bile salts, take care of the bilirubin, etc. So that's another claim that we can say, that this product can be used for high cholesterol. In the beginning phases of that, it's an alternative to I'm not going to say an alternative. It's actually a first line of defense for people that have just discovered that their cholesterol is out of balance.
So a first responder, just a
first
simple,
responder.
I mean, we have claims that will support Probio Balance being a first responder to cholesterol issues, especially LDL. So I think that's a good verbiage for people to use. That's something we should use on our marketing pieces too. I like that. Dr. Rouse, I want to give you the floor on this question.
Well, we got two pharmacists speaking pharmacology.
Right.
Statin drugs are definitely in the game. There are billions of dollars in the industry. And with that many patients, doctors are easily going to prescribe it. It brings the cholesterol down very quickly. However, it also lowers HDL, which is your healthy cholesterol. So hey, you got two sides of this debate going. Is it healthy for me to lower the healthy stuff that my body needs? And the answer is obviously no. And usually the patient will show up with joint or muscle pain in the preceding days that start the decrease or the real troublesome time. My physician, he's an MD in internal medicine, and I suggest that everybody work closely with their own physician. I mean, get a good relationship going. And my physician was a lecturer for Merck Pharmaceutical. I mean, they're the guys who made the ACE inhibitor blood pressure pills, the first statin drugs to the market. And here I've got my doctor is one of the lecturers in the pharmaceutical industry. So I go to him and we chit chat a lot. And I said, okay, my cholesterol by age is higher than I want it. My HDL is not where it should be. What do you suggest? And you know, he said, Charlie, you know, the best thing to do, obviously, is to change your diet. And I get my blood checked every 6 months, and things appreciably change. But also, I asked him, I said, what are your favorite natural remedies and what direction do you personally go into? Sometimes ask the doctor, what do they writes out his natural remedies. And so over the years, 25 or 30 years, I've always been in natural medicine, healthfully controlling my cholesterol, triglycerides, bilirubin, liver enzymes, the whole spectrum, without ever having to take one statin drug. But I also know that there are patients that doctors are adamant, and you know, you need your physician, so they do prescribe a statin drug. Probio Balance is well tolerated and compatible with any prescription drug. So I'd suggest, hey, you're on it, get your blood profiles perfect, then ask your doctor to let you have.
That's perfect. That's outstanding. Dr. Rouse, thank you. We lost you there a little bit with some internet issues, but I think that was well stated in every way, but it's all good. There he is. He's back. Anything further you want to add? And if you want to, real quick too, you know, we know Probio Balance can be used standalone, but are there benefits, or should people be using like longevity and the rest of the Modexus lineup with this? Can they expect to see synergism with all the products together as well? I think yes, but tell me what you think.
That's a definite 100%. I mean, good gracious, the immune system counts for everything. And when you start putting Lana-Cera longevity into the system, wow, things are dynamic. And how much energy does your body need? I guarantee you that it needs more than you think. And lift is a daily routine because your body needs dynamic energy to function. It needs all of that capability. And if somebody has stress, put the tranquility on it and get rid of it. Make things happen. They're all made to work in tandem, to work together. And whether we're talking cadence for the man, rhythm for the woman, they work together. They're synergistic. We put each product together knowing it's a family, knowing that each product will do no harm, and each product will help the other product to be the best product.
I could see Relieve working real well with Probio Balance as well. So Dr. Rouse, thank you for that. So we're going to go back to Alan. Alan, I've got one more question for you, only because I've been asked this question or seen this question from our field several times in the past week. So what if you don't have a gallbladder?
You need Probio Balance, really. So I'm in that category. I don't have a gallbladder. And so if we don't have a gallbladder, that's where our first amount of bile comes to help our body deal with the fat that's in our diet. Our gallbladder gets it out into the stomach, gets it there, and starts the process right away. And if we don't have a gallbladder, what we have to rely on then is our liver expanding the secondary bile duct. And it's all up to the liver now to produce the bile salts that we need. And one of the things that I'm so excited about is the Probio Balance, that probiotic that we have, that special blend that's been clinically proven to initiate the production of bile salts. So it's going to be it's going to really help people that don't have a gallbladder. I think they're going to get rid of a lot of bloating, a lot of indigestion, GERD, those kinds of issues that come from the fact that they just are not producing the amount of bile salts as the food comes into their body that they ordinarily would. I think it's going to be magic for these people that don't have a gallbladder, literally magic.
Again, just one more reason to be super excited. So, Christian, if you can bring all three of us up on the screen, I'd sure appreciate it. So, I want to thank Dr. Rouse, Dr. Allen for this incredible conversation. It's been actually intriguing, a lot of incredible information. I mean, bottom line, if you're listening and you have any concerns with cholesterol, even if it's a first responder need, you're creeping up a little bit and you want to get it under control, or maybe you've already been battling cholesterol your entire life and you're just looking for a way to either get it in line, even with the help of the pharmaceutical, or maybe even wean yourself off. I mean, this is definitely a nutrition you're going to want to use consistently. And you're only going to find it here at Modexus, and a large part because of these two gentlemen. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I certainly love and appreciate you both very much. And this is an exciting time for our company. So share this information. We've got part 1 and part 2. We'll do part 4 here very, very soon. And then we're also looking at a pre-launch, pre-sale date of July 24th. There'll be an early purchase opportunity from July 24th through the end of the month. And then we'll start shipping Probio Balance probably sometime around, give or take a couple days, the 10th of August. So anyway, it's coming soon, fast. So that's all for now, guys. Until next time, stay healthy. Thank you.